5 tips for tilling with a tractor. Very first tip, make sure you get a tiller that's as wide as your tractor. This tractor here is about 5 foot wide. This is a 5 foot wide king cutter tiller, and when it tills, it doesn't leave any tire tracks behind. Even if this tractor could run a wider tiller, which I wouldn't recommend, it's a 39 horsepower tractor, 5 foot tiller is the best size for the different types of soil profiles. This happens to be sandy soil. We also have some clay soil on Piney Grove, and if I were to go with a wider tiller on this tractor, it would really bog it down. But another reason that I don't recommend a wider tiller, even if your tractor can handle it, is once you start getting outside the width of your tractor, you tend to snag on things. We're on a food plot right now. It's ringed with trees around here. There's some stumps I have to avoid, and it's just easier for me to know that wherever the front of the tractor can go, the tiller can go, and I won't damage the tiller. This isn't a tip, but it's more of an explanation. There's 2 types of tillers. There's tillers that rotate this way and kick the soil and debris out the back. And there's tillers that rotate this way, and they're called reverse rotation tillers, and they throw the dirt up under the tractor. Now, each one has its place, but I think you can get by with a rear discharge tiller in a lot more applications than a tiller that's reversed. Now, a tiller that's reversed is gonna constantly throw that soil forward and re-chop it and give you a finer seed bed. But if you have rocks and roots and clumpy soil, then it can create a mess, it can create damage. Those rocks can kick up under your tractor. There's a place for them, but I would recommend getting one that kicks out the back. That wasn't really a tip, so let's talk about a tip here at the back end of the tiller. All tillers have some sort of gate here in the back, and there's different ways that that's attached. On a king cutter, they put a single chain. I actually had this welded on, but the chain goes from this point right here down here to this little land, and the length of the chain dictates how high to have your tailgate. Sometimes in wet soil, or if you have soil with a lot of rocks, you would want your tailgate up high so things will kick out the back. I always put my tailgate all the way down because I want a nice smooth seed bed behind my tiller, and by the dirt hitting this tailgate when it's all the way down, it'll feather out nicely behind it. And that's if the soil's at the right moisture level. Which brings us into tip number 3. I tilled this portion of this 1 acre food plot about an hour ago, and it had perfect moisture. It's now gray where it's dried because the more you till soil, the more you dry it. But it's got the perfect moisture, the perfect consistency for a tiller to leave a perfect seed bed. We'll go back over there where the tractor is. It's a little wetter over there and it's more clumpy. So you want to look at that moisture content. If it just rained or if it's a soggy part of your field, you might not want to till it until it dries out, or you might want to till it to expose it, like this is exposed to the sun, then it'll dry out quicker and then take a second pass over it. All right, let's go over here to where it's a little bit more moisture in the soil, and we'll show you what I mean by clumping. So this has had a few minutes to dry out. It's been tilled for 15, 20 minutes, but over here it's wetter. So this portion of the plot is in the shade, and it's noticeably wetter over here anyway because the plot goes down into a swamp there. But I'm gonna bring you some soil to show you what I mean by clumpy. Hopefully in the shade this picks up, but you can see that this is clumpy and not breaking apart like that more dry sandy soil over there. So when you're using a tiller in, like I said, in the wet stuff, you might wanna go over it once to break it up, let it dry out, and then go over it again, and then it'll look like it did over there where we showed you the sandy soil. Okay, the next tip is prepare your field, and let me show you what I mean. So when I say prepare a field, what I mean is don't go into a field that has 3 foot tall weeds and grasses and think you can till it and get it to look like that. You might be able to, but you're gonna have to go over it multiple times, and your tiller's probably gonna bind up. At each end of your tiller, there's a bearing, and there's no tines that run over top of that bearing, so the ends tend to get wound up with grass and vines and long weed stalks, and then it wraps and it wraps and it wraps, and then the bearing can't cool. It starts to overheat. Some of those wrappings get up into the seal of the bearing. They cause the bearing to leak, and now your $2,000 or $3,000 tiller needs $1,000 worth of maintenance. So the way you avoid that is make sure that you mow and brush hog everything down real low, and use a flail mower or maybe a finish mower if you can after you've brush hogged, so that your thatch is chopped up as much as possible, and also leave the thatch in the sun. If this was green, I wouldn't be able to pull it apart, But it's been a couple weeks and now this thatch is brittle and the rototiller or the tiller can till that up and incorporate it into the soil much better. So just before I got off the tractor for the last tip, I stopped it, turned off the PTO, and then turned off the tractor. And this is what happens when you do that. It leaves a furrow here. And the way you want to avoid that is always keep the tractor moving. So when you start at the beginning of your pass and you back up, like in this case, I back up into the woods a little bit, I get moving forward a little bit, the tiller's already going at 540 RPM, and I drop it. And as I drop it, it just gradually digs in and it doesn't leave a furrow. When you get to the end of your pass, because that's the beginning of the pass I talked about, when you get to the end of your pass, it's a little bit harder not to leave a furrow because you got to pick up gradually on your 3-point hitch so that it doesn't leave a dig out like this. But the way you can fix that is after you're done, take 2 passes all the way around the edges of your field so that you cover all of these up. To restart a pass like this, let's say you had to stop for some reason, you had to move a stick out in front of the tractor or a rock or something, and you left this furrow, I'm gonna get on the tractor and back it up and drop the tiller back here, and this should smooth out as I go forward. So it's not perfect, but it's better. It's a little bit taller right here, and the only way to fix that is take another pass all the way across to even it out. My next tip would be to maintain an even speed. Once you determine the speed where you can chop the ground, chop the thatch, leave a nice seed bed, maintain that speed across your whole pass, and that way it'll be even down the whole row. If you stop and you start or you slow down and you go quicker, you're gonna get a different seed bed down the whole pass. What I like to do is go as fast as possible and still maintain a good seed bed. But when I get to, say, an area like this, I may have to slow down to chop that up more. My next tip is gonna be, once you engage your PTO and you've got a decent sized field that you're working on, you don't have to turn your PTO on and off at the end of the row. I leave the tiller running as I pick it up at the end of the pass and then do my turn and drop it while I'm moving so I don't create that furrow. And that saves you a lot of time and gives you a nicer till all the way to the end of your row. So my next tip would be to always till in straight lines and reduce the amount of side-to-side loading you put on your bearings. These tillers have a bearing on each end, at least the 5-footers do, maybe the wider ones have one in the middle. And those bearings are made to rotate in a straight line, you know, forward or backward. They're not made to go side to side. So even if you have a round field, try to segment it off and make it square, and don't go around the perimeter of the field and keep going around to the center and having tighter and tighter circles. What that will do by going around in a circle is push side to side on this bearing. The load will shift left and right. It will heat up this bearing and cause premature wear and premature failure. If you go in straight lines like this, it'll make your tiller last a lot longer. And I think my last tip is gonna be just get out there and have fun. A tiller is one of the most satisfying things you can have behind a compact tractor. It might be more satisfying than a brush hog, and we all know those are fun. But you can take something that looks like this over here and turn it into this well-tilled field. This has got the seed spread on it already, so as I till it, it's incorporating that seed with the soil, and this thing will be green in about 7 days and just be a perfect field. But that's all I've got for you today. Y'all take care out there, and until next time, remember, life's short, tractor hard.